Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to Guiding Voice podcast series, The Guiding Voice for a Better Future. This podcast is to help students and young professionals to shape their careers. During every episode, we interact with industry experts and guest speakers to drive insightful conversations that would help students and young professionals learn some great things. Thank you for tuning in. This is Naveen and I'm with my co-host Sudhakar. Folks, today we are going to have the youngest speaker on our show so far, and it's really good to connect with someone who is about to graduate. And we're pleased to welcome Parth to talk about UiPath and RPA in general.
Parth Doshi is pursuing his final year Bachelors of Technology in Computer Engineering from Mukesh Patel School of Technology and Management, Mumbai. He is currently working as an RPA Developer Intern at Worley. Parth likes to learn new technologies and he runs his own YouTube channel where he creates content on UiPath, which is an RPA tool. Parth is also an UiPath Mumbai chapter organizer. Parth, welcome to our show and let's get into our conversation.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Sudhakar, for a great introduction and having me over here.
So, Parth, you are about to graduate from engineering school. However, we see that in addition to you learning new technologies, you already started sharing that knowledge with community. So, really would be interested to know how to start learning new technologies.
So, basically, when we are in engineering college or when we are pursuing engineering, we find many people doing many different things. Some might interest us, some might not. So what I would suggest is when we see something, like someone has done something and we like it, we should go ourselves and explore that. In this similar way, I came across this RPA technology. So I saw someone doing it on LinkedIn. I went and explored and I am now completely into it.
Wow, that is really great. So, how to implement what we learn? That is, how to put the knowledge into use.
So, one first point of how to implement what we learn is whatever we are learning, it actually has some. So whatever we are learning, it actually has some implementation or it is already being used somewhere. Now, what we can do is we can go and either explore what is already existing and see what advancements can be made to that from our knowledge, or else we can try to build something new which can be possible through that particular technology. So we should continuously, I think, keep on thinking what can be done using the technology. Only learning won't ever be enough.
Very nice statement. You mentioned about understanding new things and at the same time trying to build on what is already existing. Wonderful thought. Now, can you share with our listeners how to become a good learner?
Yes, I can definitely. So many times when we learn, we face problems, and mostly considering engineering colleges or while doing engineering, we learn different programming languages. So it definitely has errors. No one is a perfect programmer at the initial stage. What I would suggest is to become a good learner, what we need to do is I have a quote this. First, teach yourself and then learn from others. So first, try to go and solve that error by your own self. Teach your own self why I made this mistake, how can I overcome this? And if not, then you can go to others and learn from them. But always the first stage of becoming a better learner is by first teaching our own self and then learning from others.
That's great. Teach yourself and learn from others. I love the quote. Now, sharing knowledge with others is an amazing thing and we love to do that. So what is the importance of it to you and what made you to start at such an young age?
So initially also, when I was pursuing my engineering, I always loved sharing my studies or whatever I do. I used to help my friends. I used to make notes. I used to share them. Also, I run a website, Notes for NMIMS, that helps the junior of my college who are pursuing engineering to have access to all the notes that I have made in my 5 years of engineering, and that also for free. So sharing my knowledge always helped me become a better learner. So like whenever I shared my knowledge, I saw that I was able to get into 10 times in return. So I shared something, the other person was more happier, he shared his knowledge, we worked together on something, we built something. So right now also, this opportunity which I got on speaking on the guiding voice and having a talk with you all, this only came when I shared my knowledge. I was sharing my knowledge on LinkedIn and I got this opportunity to come and talk over here. So I think that's the importance of sharing, and that can help us become a better learner, a better person, I can say. Instead of better learner, we become a better person when we share our knowledge and exchange ideas with different people.
That's a great way to look at it, Parth. Sharing knowledge so that we can be better of ourselves. That's really amazing. So coming back to this topic about RPA, with many technologies being around like artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, blah, blah, blah. Why did you choose RPA as your focus area? Anything that actually triggered that inquisitiveness in you?
Right. So like as I said before as well, I saw some person working on this. I found it very interesting and I started exploring it. And then the capabilities of this technology and what I used to think like, will this be possible, was actually making it possible using the capabilities of RPA technology. And not to hide or lie, but even being an engineer, I was not a very good programmer. I was not very much proficient like other coders who were my friends. And also I found that the RPA tool available in the community, that is the UiPath, is a low code tool. We don't require much coding. So I'm not hiding my weakness that I'm not a good programmer. Yes, I'm not a good programmer, but then I found something which was there for the people like me. So that was the main reason I chose RPA, and right now I'm continuously exploring that particular technology and being an active member in the community.
That's great. Good to know about you.
So one question I have is like for both of you, not only for Naveen or Sudhakar, but both of you. So like while talking to people or while taking this initiative of the guiding voice, I would like to ask you all, what part of yourself did you explore through this particular initiative?
That's a wonderful question. You have put us on spot. Let me take a stab at it. So first of all, coming to my journey and all, I come from a diverse background. I started my career as a Java programmer, and in between I took up roles like senior programmer, systems analyst, project manager, and then program manager. And in between I did my black belt certification, and I also served as a global PMO leader for one of the world's biggest companies. And I also did my master black belt certification, and I'm primarily right now into digital transformation area. And while I'm talking to various experts across the industry, across various walks of life, I'm started realizing what are certain things which I am lacking at this moment. And it is definitely giving me an opportunity to assess myself, where am I and where should I be. And that is more on the technology part of it and also on the leadership part. And when it comes to soft skills and general talks with regard to stress management or mindfulness and many other topics which we have dealt, it is a kind of eye-opener and also reflecting on my own life and how far I have come through and what are various challenges that we have been through. And at the same time, it is giving a very good outlook on the future in terms of how to be in control, because various experts that we have spoken so far, they are already champions in their space, and all the tips that they have shared are amazing. So in case if we can implement all of them, we'll be a better person. So to be honest, at least in my case, I'm getting more matured after every conversation that I'm having through, because we also do this post-production stuff wherein we get to hear the same conversation again and again. Right. So that still keeps resonating even after the episode goes live and all. So overall, it's a wonderful opportunity for us as well as the hosts of this show, wherein it is giving an opportunity to connect with people across the globe. And also, if you're able to make a difference of at least 1%, then our goal is achieved. And thanks for the wonderful question. Over
So
to you, Sudhakar.
Yeah, I think Naveen, you detailed it enough. I think I would summarize it in one statement that we all are eternal students, right? There is never a time or a place where you know most of it, if not all of it. So these discussions with these industry veterans and fresh blood give us the opportunity to retrospect and introspect, like Naveen mentioned, and it gives us a perspective to appreciate a current situation in much larger and broader scheme of things. So, like you mentioned, Parth, learning and sharing, it gives you opportunity to be a better professional and much better than that, a better individual.
So great to hear that, and talking to you all feels great. So now my second question is that, like, when we learn something, okay, we are interested in maybe a particular field or something like that. Maybe I am a good programmer. As Naveen said, he worked initially as a Java programmer. Someone might work as a digital marketer or something like that. So what do you think? Should we be an expert in some field, or should we be a lifelong learner?
I would say you can never be a perfectionist or expert on any skill for that matter, right? There is always an opportunity for you to be better than what you are today. Even for people like Oprah or Usain Bolt, I don't think they will say that, yeah, this is done, I am done for life, right? So even after they retire from the professional careers like Sachin Tendulkar, they would still want to be connected to that field, coaching, mentoring the next generation. And also they want to be part of that current generation, latest things that happen in their specific functional area. So the way I see it, you should continue to learn on the specific topic. But whether you want to be a jack of all or master of one is purely individual preference. And sometimes the organization that you work for actually give you the opportunity or not so much. Because there are some organizations which prefer those master of one, and there are some organizations and roles who prefer that jack of all. So I think even the organization and the surroundings where you work or learn also guide you and drive you to make one decision either way. But it is always good to have a broader perspective of at least what is happening around the world, so that you know whether you want to continue in this path or you want to be a master of one specific skill. What do you think, Naveen?
Yeah, I completely concur with you, and you have pretty much covered it. One quote that I remember is, the day you stop learning, you stop living.
Absolutely.
Because it is ever-changing, in this ever-changing life wherein technologies are coming or getting released every other week, there is a constant learning that has to be there in order to keep up to date and meet with the pace. So one other thing, probably what I will relate, connecting it to my core expertise, the Lean Six Sigma stuff. We normally differentiate Lean as focusing on breadth of a particular business process, understanding end to end, and whereas Six Sigma is more about going deep into a particular process and understanding where there are defects and eliminating them. If you were to drive some analogy around that, as Sudhakar has mentioned, we need to have a basic understanding of breadth of everything. However, be an expert or champion in one domain wherein you can succeed.
So that's it from my side. I had only 2 questions in my mind.
Thank you for those questions, Parth. It actually helps us in retrospecting and having a quick thought about what we are doing and how we are doing. So Parth, are you a reader? Do you read any books other than the technology stuff? Obviously, you are a master in it. You want to learn latest technologies. But other than technology, do you read?
Right. So, like, I'm not a constant reader. Like, I can't read books completely. But like few months back, I had decided to read Bhagavad Gita. Wow. So I completed that in a month. And after that, I do read, but I like reading articles or short stories. I like reading articles on motivation, inspiration, excluding tech, as you said. So I like reading different articles, watching YouTube videos and all that, but not a book reader.
Excellent. And I'm sure I was actually thinking to ask what will be the one book that you would recommend or one article that you would recommend. But if you covered Bhagavad Gita, I think you covered everything.
Yes, that would I always prefer. And also, like, if you all want to suggest me one book, there's one book again called Chanakya Niti.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would suggest that. So I was like about to start the book from Monday. So I read very less, but I read this kind of book. So I'm about to start it from Monday. So I think I would suggest that as a book to the audience.
That is amazing, Parth.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Parth. It's definitely a great experience for us to speak to someone who is bubbling with energy and want to share the knowledge that you learn and you want others also to learn. That is a great, we really appreciate that great thought. And the fact that you have your own channel and so many subscribers. It was indeed a great discussion on the overall concept of this RPA in general, and of course, how the current generation is thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudhakar. Thank you, Naveen, for having me in this conversation and giving me this opportunity to share my experience to more audience, and it might reach to more people and help them, I hope.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining and really appreciate your time. Keep up the passion for learning. You have a bright future.
Definitely.
Dear listeners, to know more about our speaker and the content, visit or follow us on social media. We are available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, Pinterest, and also on YouTube. Just search for The Guiding Voice and then follow, like, subscribe to us, and also share within your network. Please feel free to email us with your suggestions and feedback at The Guiding Voice for You. That is THEGUIDINGVOICE 4 as a digit U at gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on our India number 9494587187. Again, India number 9494587187, and we will be happy to collaborate with you.
All right. So it brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. And today's trivia is about domain name registrations. Domain name registrations were free till 1995. And at that point in time, nobody really knew that the internet was capable of being such a huge boon to the world. And this was a huge opportunity for people to own all kinds of domain names at that point in time. But in 1995, a company called Network Solutions was granted the rights to charge people for domain names. And it was very expensive too. Can you guess? Alright, so the prices typically started at about $100 per 2 years of registrations. And as much as 30% of that fees went to the National Science Foundation to create an Internet Intellectual Infrastructure Fund. Later, this fee was reversed in 1995, bringing the charge down to $70 for 2 years. But if you look at the current price for domain name, it's much cheaper compared to what it used to be in the past. Similar to other computing and infrastructure, the same applies to domain name as well. The price has been coming down, and today we have the flexibility of naming the domain name not just by .in, .com, but you can go with your own custom domain. Like, for example, if you are into a training organization, probably you can say www.agile.training. Or if you run a textile business, you can say www.srinivasa.textiles, so on and so forth. Interesting, isn't it? Thank you for listening. There is more in store. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful time. Take care. Be safe. Until next time. Bye-bye.